As mentioned in the first episode of Dark Disturbances, AlterWorld's origins can be traced back to 2003 with the haunting of the house where me and my brother Chris lived at the time. Although unexplained phenomena occurred at random in the house on Clark Street for years, it wasn't until me, Chris, and our cousin Daryl began investigating this activity that it escalated in both frequency and aggressiveness. After 20 years, we're finally telling the entire story.
So a few days after Chris was, for lack of a better term, attacked, I went back over to the house and we started the next investigation.
Going into that third investigation, I just remember just being kind of have a bad attitude.
Chris, I can understand why he had a bad attitude. I caught his vibe and backed him up. This was the investigation where we did everything wrong. We were more like a gang. We thought we were the warriors. But we never really thought of the possibility that we would end up like the baseball Furies instead. So me and Chris are up in the attic. Chris is provoking the hell out of anything and everything that might be up there that we can't see.
Hello, you guys.
And then Lenny arrived.
Me and my cousins have been talking for a while about things that was happening at my aunt's house. My cousin asked me, would you like to come over sometime? I said, sure.
Our other cousin Lenny joined the fray. He kind of completed our team. He was a wise-cracking smartass, just like the rest of us.
With Lenny coming in, we had a fourth member, and it allowed us to basically split up into two teams.
One of us could be up in the attic, and the other team could be down in the basement at the same time. We were hoping that by doing that, we could flush out the entity or entities to one or the other and hopefully get it caught on video.
And there's something about him too. It's like, okay, something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like something's drawn to him or something like that.
One point, all four of us ended up in the basement. And this was the first time that I got a good look at the weird Oz.
There was a spray painting in our basement of the word Oz. My dad didn't remember that being down there or how it got there, and we don't remember how it got there either.
I don't remember it being there, but when I was younger, I didn't go down to the basement lot because it was creepy. Yeah, it was just weird just seeing it there, not knowing who put it there or why it was there. No other story, no other information.
It was just like a lot of other aspects of that house. It was just weird, and we couldn't figure out who put it there or when. And one of the dumbest decisions I think we've ever made.
To try to provoke the thing more, decided to kind of work over the collage a little bit, which might have been more than a little bit.
Me and Chris, we went up in there in the attic and was just talking all kinds of shit, and we were shooting the damn thing with BB pellets.
We used BB gun. We did damage it.
We got caught up in our own, our mutual anger over what had happened with Chris a few days before. And I just rewatched the footage of this, and I take full responsibility for this mistake. I mean, that collage was a piece of history. One of the strangest events that happened that weekend, me and Chris were up in the attic, and the flashlight that I had just run out of battery, or was almost dead. I can't remember which.
It's fucking dead. Your batteries suck.
I heard this noise.
And it started in the back of the attic
And coming towards us.
I was frozen, and I know Chris was right next to me.
Is that you?
No.
You better not be fucking with me.
I'm not shooting with you.
Where's it coming from? It's over by that hole.
I saw a light move.
Where?
It's over by the hole. It's right by me.
There was something there, like right in front of us.
I could feel every hair on my body standing up.
And I remember pulling out my lighter. And nothing.
And of course, we couldn't see a damn thing.
I think we went back downstairs after that. Circling back to the collage. So now we got it down. We brought it down to the drum room.
I was very excited to examine this collage because I'd never seen anything like it before. It was very fascinating, but there still was a sinking pit in my heart of concern that we did something that we shouldn't have done by bringing it down.
Just like how I felt when I first saw it, I just felt weird looking at it. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I think it was psychological.
You know, this gave you kind of like a weird feeling, you know, because you didn't know the history of it. It was just pictures, just all these glued pictures of like kids.
We saw that the collage was signed J, as in the initial J, J. Werner.
Why was it up there? Why was it displayed the way it was? And with me living there for so long and not knowing this thing was up there, not knowing the history, it just kind of unsettling.
By that point, a couple of more handprints had appeared at the drum room.
But the light switch, that wasn't there, and that wasn't up there, but the
It seemed like there was a little bit of an uptick in activity.
So we ended up leaving the camera upstairs with the collage, and aside from one noise that could be an EVP, but also could be, you know, a car in the distance being misconstrued as an EVP, surprisingly nothing happened on the surveillance tape. We were really disappointed, you know, when we got the camera and reviewed the footage the next day.
So me and my cousin Daryl,
We were going to do another night of investigating.
when we got upstairs,
We noticed that there were new handprints in and around the drum room. We should have took that as a hint of how the next couple of hours was going to go.
shortly after Robert and Chris joined us,
At one point, we heard a bang coming from the kitchen area, you know, where the entrance to the attic was. I can remember going with the camera and checking it out. I didn't find what made the noise.
We were in the kitchen investigating some bumps that we had heard, and when we came back, we noticed that there was a brand new handprint that was in there that wasn't there when we had left.
Another new one appeared when we were in the kitchen.
Was not in there when I had left it, I don't know, a minute before, 2 minutes before.
We're in the drum room. We start hearing something from above us.
we heard voices.
Coming from the attic, almost directly above us.
Shh, listen. Let's walk around up there.
It sounded like a muffled discussion up in the attic. It sounded like two voices, maybe more.
Everyone's like, well, what is this? What's going on?
We noticed that there was something going on with our cousin Chris.
I started feeling sick. It felt like it was building up. Started feeling sicker and sicker, like I didn't want to move.
Next thing we know, he kind of passed out.
Hear it. It's talking.
first we thought it was pretty funny, you know, because here we are, we're hearing voices in the attic, and here's Chris sleeping through it.
The most uninterested paranormal investigator ever.
And then we kind of realized that Chris hadn't fallen asleep and that he really wasn't okay after all.
Hey Chris, you okay? Chris, snap out of it. My eyes are all fucking jittery and shit.
I start feeling like salivating more and just felt lethargic too.
Come on, Chris. Come on. Come on, man. Fine. No, you're not, dude.
And the guys were thinking about just getting me out of there. And I think it was Daryl. He grabbed a hold of me. He was trying to get me up.
I can remember trying to pull Chris up from the chair.
He tried dragging me, and I was basically dead weight. Just laying on the floor, feeling just horrible.
And I was really starting to get angry.
And in the back of my mind, it was just, something was telling me,
maybe you should put the collage upstairs.
Get rid of the collage.
When Chris said that, I can remember looking up at Robert and just this understanding passed between me and him without us saying any words.
Daryl and I decided to put the collage back, not knowing, you know, if that was what caused it or what was going on.
We're taking that fucking thing back upstairs.
I remember going up into the attic.
Bring your collage back, you son of a bitch. I hope you're happy.
And Robert followed up the stairs behind me. He stayed at the entrance filming.
I remember Daryl was talking to the entities and telling them that we're returning the collage.
Bringing your thing back.
I didn't see or feel anything up there in that attic at that time, which I thought was very weird.
Me and my cousin Chris were in the drum room. I was watching over him.
And now I'm starting to feel better.
To this day, I have a hard time telling this part of the story because it's so unbelievable. And I know it's unbelievable, but this is how it happened.
I don't know who it was at this time, but someone pointed out there was something written on the wall.
What?
Shit.
Holy shit, there's more. Leave me. Jesus Christ. Leave it.
Leave it?
That's what it fucking says. Look at that shit.
Leave it in here or leave it upstairs?
It fucking says leave it.
There was writing on the wall, and it was similar to the handprint. It was probably written in whatever ashy soot that was all over the attic. And we couldn't really tell what it said at first.
It said something like,
Leave. Die.
This looks like a D.
Leave or die? Jesus Christ.
And of course, my first thought was, Lenny or Chris did this. They're fucking with me and Rob. But we've always been the kinds of pranksters that will only stretch it so long before we're like, haha, got you, prick. But after almost 20 years, by this point, fight or flight kicked in. Lenny and Robert were all for flight.
I just vote for getting out of here before we die.
Yeah. Chris, get up. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I was really concerned, especially with seeing that and what had just happened with my cousin Chris.
And then I was all for fight.
and of course, this upsets Daryl.
No fucking way. No fucking way.
What's going on?
When Robert and Lenny were heading downstairs, I told them to check on Aunt Sandra because, you know, she was downstairs on the couch taking a nap at the time.
Dude, check on Sandra, quick.
And me and Chris were still up on the second floor.
I'm still kind of out of there.
It was almost unbearable upstairs at that moment. It was like I was trapped in a trash compactor. You know, the walls, the ceiling, everything were just closing in and was going to crush me. Robert, and I think Lenny too, they were calling to me from downstairs.
Fuck! Go! Get the fuck out of here, dude. It's fucking moving.
Down, I was the last one out of the second floor, and I'm running down the steps. And I see this, like a streaky black handprint. I went from anger to panic. I got downstairs and then there was this other handprint that was on the door leading into the living room.
Yeah, there's one on the fucking door.
Handprints on the refrigerator.
Fridge?
I'm not even really filming at this point. The camera is hanging by a strap around my neck and it's on my chest.
Fucking shit, dude.
Basement.
Chris almost zombie-like. He's like, basement. If you want to get a good shot of it, I bet you it's down the basement. Let's go.
We're dead set.
Fucking determined
We are going to get something.
to get this thing
This is our chance.
on camera.
This thing's really active.
And then we decided to go downstairs and, you know, see what's going on in the basement.
Come on, you fucking fuck.
We all saddle up except for Lenny. I'm pretty sure Lenny stayed up there with my mom to make sure that she was okay.
Well, I had decided to stay on the first floor with my Aunt Sandra, and she was asking questions about what was going on, and she didn't understand. And I said, I just need to stay here with you because something weird happened. I gotta watch.
You down there?
Look around, you know, trying to see if we can find anything, hear anything, maybe catch something, head towards that odd side or whatever.
At some point, Chris hawked up this weird-looking reddish-orange loogie.
Chris? Are you okay, Chris?
And as soon as it came out, man, I felt so much better.
For some reason, seeing him spit that up like that set me off all over again. And this time, Robert joined me in the rage party.
Bitch!
There was I think an old car. Yeah, it was an old car door that was down there, and Robert was beating it and, you know, and calling it out. But Chris was only down there for a couple of minutes, and then he went back upstairs. This time, I took the bat and was beating that car door and daring whatever it was that, you know, messed with Chris to come out and get its ass kicked. Yeah, that's us. We take care of all your supernatural problems with a baseball bat. Long story short, though, we were down there in the basement for a while and absolutely nothing happened. My anger started to wear off and I got kind of to that point where I was just like, you know what? This thing won. I said, let's go upstairs and lick our wounds and we'll try to figure things out. So me and Robert, we went back upstairs, and Aunt Sandra, she told me that before any of us had come down from the second floor, that she had heard the door that opened into the living room from the hallway. She had heard it open and heard somebody run past her on the couch all the way into the kitchen where it went through she heard the basement door open. Looking back on that now, it's almost like that entity, it left us breadcrumbs. And it was like it fed off of all of our negative emotions that we were feeling, whether it was fear, anxiety, panic, anger. When we reviewed the footage of me taking the collage back up in the attic,
We did get a weird visual anomaly.
Bringing your thing back.
I am completely split 50-50 down the middle on what it could be, whether it is paranormal or normal.
Looked similar to a face, and it was, close to me, who, I was filming at the time.
You will actually hear a noise that sounds like someone striking a match. Then it looks like, almost like a flame, and it's relatively close to Robert's position, and it looks like it's actually giving off its own light. And this flame lifts up at an angle, and then something flies out of the light.
I didn't know what to think. But then the more that I looked at it, the way that it detached from whatever light was there.
This thing looks like it comes out of this light.
And we did not see that while we were up there. We didn't see it until we reviewed the footage later.
On the other hand, I'm pretty sure I had the flashlight tucked under my arm, and the light, which would have been partially covered by my arm and body, could have been pointed behind me at just the right angle to create this weird sort of optical illusion. I really can't tell you either way.
We also caught an EVP.
Shortly after the face-like anomaly was captured, I called the Robert from where I was in the attic and said something along the lines of,
I don't know if it's exactly the way it was originally, but at least it's up here.
And Robert said,
Are you happy, you fucker?
and a few seconds after Robert says this, you can hear the EVP.
Sounds like somebody saying behind you.
I don't know if it's exactly the way it was originally, but at least it's up here. Are you happy, you fucker?
Who it's talking to exactly, we're not sure. It could be replying to Rob. It also could have been talking to me, because at the time the voice was captured, I was making my way back toward Rob, and my back was to the collage and the rest of the attic. And did the voice belong to whatever it was that Robert caught on camera a minute before? That's pretty creepy if you think about it. Looking back on the third investigation, I am almost 100% ashamed of how we conducted it.
You can see clearly we did a lot of stuff wrong.
From the start, we let our emotions completely dictate our actions. We went in provoking, which a little bit of provocation is okay. Sometimes that's what you got to do to get activity stirred up. I understand that. But sometimes if you do too much, you get emotionally trapped in a spider's web. And this is just my speculation. But my belief is that whatever was in that house, it took our loyalty to each other as a family and turned it against us. And fed off of it. I can remember in the days afterward, me, Rob, and Chris having serious discussions about calling it quits.
After the events of this hunt, Chris really wanted us to kind of stop the ghost hunts for a little while, and I agreed.
We thought, especially me and Rob, we lived there. We had to sleep there.
We told Daryl, hey, maybe we need to kind of slow it down a little bit and wait and see what's going on with the house, because, we do have to live here.
And we were on the verge of quitting.
But after discussing it again, a little while afterwards, I think we all kind of came to the mutual agreement that we were all determined to atone for all the mistakes that we had made.
We're gonna get our stuff together, get all of our emotions together. We will still be us, but we're not going to be destroying things. We're not going to be as provoking. We're going to be more like watchers. We're studying, we're waiting, we're watching, we're actually hunting.
And even though nothing ever really hit that emotional apex again, whatever was there in that house still had a lot of surprises left for us.